Hey everyone, mid-September. I'm back here at the Reboot. It's been a very busy summer. I haven't been out here much at all. Oh, I love it when I can turn those lights on. Here's the big plan for the next few months. You can see all the insulation. I did most of that in February and March earlier this year. And as you can see, I have all of these rolls of insulation to get in place all around the shop here. So my goal is that by December, hopefully mid-November this year, I've got most of this insulation in place. Let's get this insulation installed. So I want to start hanging the insulation again. I want to get, obviously, the end of this wall completed. And then what I want to do is you'll see stationed a few areas around the back wall here. You see these 2x4s. There's one there. There's one there, there's one there. The posts on the back wall and one post on the front wall are 4x4s. My wall insulation is 6 inches deep, so I'm gonna sister up those 4x4s with these 2x4s, make the bays deep enough, and then I'm gonna start slotting in the insulation that you see there. All right, on the back wall here, what I'm gonna do is get these 2x4s in place. The idea is to sister them up onto these 4x4s so that they're the right depth to receive the insulation bats. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one over there on the other side of what was to be another garage door. You can see I've done the framing up there for another garage door, but decided not to install it. And then I'm going to have to cut a 4-foot piece that goes on top to take it up to the 12-foot ceiling height. Okay, don't judge me. I know this is not an ideal workstation over here or work area. What I'm doing here right now is I'm putting up these 1/2-inch sheets of plywood. The idea here is that these are going to be the backing for several workstations along the wall here. So for example, I've got the large rolling workbench. Once I get this cleaned up here, the idea is to roll that right in here and park it, but also have my table saw, my chop saw, etc. on a series of workstations along this wall. I've got an outlet there, I've got another outlet over there. So if we get this leveled up, we'll sock it into place. All right, there we go. We've got these kind of 4-foot walls in place that act as backer so that when I put these workstations in place, I'm not jabbing things and pushing things through the insulation membrane. So that's an important thing. Don't want to make that full of holes. Somebody out there who knows what they're doing, this is just fiberglass bats in rolls, these big long rolls. I install them in the wall. Let me know if I need to get this dressed up, respirator, goggles, full-on suit. Keeps all the fibers off of me. Let me know what you think. I've gone as far in that corner, getting that piece underneath the window done just now. The reason why I've gone as far is because I've got to get that make-do structure out in the back there out of the way. So what I'm going to do instead is go over to this corner here and continue on, and you'll understand why I do that in a bit. Perhaps not in this video, but what I'm going to try maybe to do today is get these 2 bays done. That would be a very successful day. First, let's get all that bottom area clear. Okay, so the bays are cleaned up and I can take some measurements and start to cut the insulation to size. one relatively well, even though it took a while to split the insulation from the backing up top there to get it right in terms of the height of the bottom. I'm about 1.5 inches long at the bottom, so I'm going to cut it off a bit there. What I'm going to do now is secure the screws, create some stability that way. Again, these are these grip washers. And you put them on these long screws. Help secure and hold the insulation in place. I need 10 of those for each 12-foot long, 4-foot wide. See, I've got a few done already. It's 5. When you drive these in, because there's roughly 6 inches of insulation and 1.5 inches of girt that you don't want to go through, you've got to be careful how far you drive them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. We have 1 extra. The insulation is snug up against the post here and snug up against that. A little bit hesitant to drive these in a little bit further. Because any more and I might go through the sheet metal on the outside. Alright, that's a few in. And because it's a lot to ask these staples to hold up this piece of insulation, even though we're putting these in that obviously assist with the vertical hold, I take, this little cleat that I've made on my own, 36 inches long, and I've been attaching those. See that? I've been attaching those, and that just adds some more strength in terms of holding this long piece of insulation in place. Sandwiches the backing of the insulation right up against that piece of wood that holds it in place. And this, of course, is going to be above the ceiling, so you're not going to see that, but we'll just tack it up there. All right, I've got my gear on again, and let's try to get some more insulation in place, get those 2 little strips up there, finish that little corner. All right, I need to cut some of the rolls to specific lengths to fit into some of the bays now because they're not full width. And the rolls, for the most part, are quite tightly packed. They're flush at the end. I've got my measurement, and I'm going to mark it on the bag here.
in several places. From the edge there. And I'm going to try to cut this thing as it's rolled up. Wish me luck. See if it's saving any time. And see if the saw does the trick. Not so easy. Perhaps not one of my better ideas, but we're in it now. And we are through. That's not so bad. I'm off by about an inch on my mark here. The big test, of course, will be to see if it fits in the bay. Onwards and upwards. Overall, this went relatively well. It's in up top, coming down the side there, fits nicely as you can see. And it's a little bit long, but I have a method for fixing that. It's worked so far. I'll try to get a good feel for where that hits the ground there. I must say, the first few times I cut the insulation, I was very slow, very careful, and not quite that slow anymore. And I don't have to be as delicate as I thought early on. I separate a little bit at the bottom here, push that up onto the plate, and then I have the ability to staple that down on that same plate there.
So I've got these two bays on this back wall done. Screwed, taped. That's a very narrow piece right there. I've not got any screws in it. The next one over, screwed and taped. And the next one over, screwed and taped. Narrow, but wide enough that it's got one row of screws down it. As you can see, the screws in there. I've put in some framing for the insulation for these next two bays here. I'm going to call it quits there for the day. It's a Saturday. It's getting kind of warm, and wearing an outfit like this with that headgear starts to get pretty sweaty. So that's it for the day.
And before hanging the rolls of insulation, I want to make sure that all these cavities in the wall are filled. Okay, that's going to be it for today. 1, 2, 3 full sheets put up. The next task will be to put those partial rolls. Those need to be cut. There, there, and there. They're not full width. We'll get those in place the next time I'm out here. So in terms of my next trip out here, I'm going to be on the road for 8 days.
Heading down to the States for a few activities. And so the next video that you're likely to get could be me traveling with the Tesla. I hope that doesn't bore too many of you, and I hope it brings in some new audience members. Anyways, heading down to the greater New York City area to help a friend with some renovations. It'll be about 10 days before I'm out here at the reboot again. All right, let's get out of the rest of this gear here. Thanks for dropping by to watch me hang this insulation. Everybody, thank you for coming by, for sticking with the video this long. Subscribe, like, and share. And remember, the next video is not likely to be here at the shop. Instead, it's going to be on the road, driving around New York State. Everyone have a good week. See you later.